What you gonna do with it? Because they didn't just come to see you show up. They came to see you show out. So my question is, what you gonna do with the moment? Let's maximize it. Let's dominate it. Let's take advantage of it. Let's make it subdue itself. Fellas, but I want you to have fun. The 3 words, what are they?
Smart, discipline, antagonist.
Let's do it all day long. I want to see that. Because we about to go out there and do what they want. Now give me my theme music.
Welcome to The Spot. My name is KARIEM Prim. Got my co-host here, Damian Ware.
What's up, everybody?
Dang, we got your boy, Coach Prime.
Yeah,
You got the spotlight.
Coach Prime.
Wondering whether black folks even ready for Coach Prime. We want to go into a little bit of what this cat is. They played Oregon this week.
Got shellacked.
Wow.
Got punished.
People, wait a second. Now, I think that people kind of taking this loss out of context. They was a 21-point underdog in that.
Were.
And they was missing a cat who was their best player on both sides of the ball.
Right.
So why people so happy? Why is people getting so much satisfaction out of this loss right here?
I don't know if it's as much satisfaction, but you know, they weren't expected to beat Oregon. They're not better than Oregon,
right,
for one.
Clearly.
And it's a couple other teams that they not better than. And I don't know why everybody had the high expectations, but Coach Prime kind of come along with this effect like we seen with Ali, Floyd.
Okay, a little confident.
Yeah, he confident, but it's also you got people that want to see that kind of image or that kind of brand win. You got people that want to see it lose. So I think that's a little something that's in the
basically
mix.
hating. Is it hate?
I don't think it's as much hate as what they say it is. I think it's more of the media feasting on where the money is and following the money. The story is Prime.
Well, we going to follow the money. I think we got some tabs on where this money is, where it's going, what the problem is with the money. Want to really tap into it. Was you aware? Did you hear Keyshawn Johnson talking about earlier this week with the college coach fraternity?
No.
Okay, Keyshawn says, this is via Keyshawn Johnson. He says that he knows some guys who are all part of this college fraternity. And he said that he was talking to an individual who knows somebody that's on the coaching staff of Oregon. And he said that during the course of the week, there was about anywhere between 12 to 15 coaches across the country Zooming into meetings, all strategizing together to put together a game plan to beat Colorado. Said he knows this for a fact.
Oh, nah.
Yeah.
So when Prime say when he tell his kids they ain't planning to beat y'all, they plan to beat me.
They playing to beat me.
Wow.
And so, see, there's another thing with the money. Because now you're starting to see the transfer of the money going from Jackson State to Colorado.
Right.
All of these schools that's been making money in that conference, and then all of a sudden now the shift is to Colorado. They played the first week, naturally that was going to be on TV, Prime TV. Then they canceled the third, the second, third, and fourth week, they canceled games in order to be able to put Colorado on TV the second, third, and fourth week of the season.
Following the money, man.
So it's people that's getting moved around. It's people that's coming up short, and they like, man, we got to deal with this Coach Prime thing. Okay, so I'm looking at it and I'm saying, okay, when you see the opposition ganging up on a cat just like that,
Right.
regardless as to whether he's confident, he's cocky,
Right.
we don't like him, I just don't like the way he's standing. You know
Right,
how it is.
right,
they get
right,
real
right,
petty.
yeah.
I don't even like the way he's standing. Why he wearing his shoes
Why you
like
got
that?
the sunglasses
Why
on?
you got them sunglasses on? Okay, so when you get people going that deep in, it seems that we as a community, as black people,
Right.
will kind of rally around this guy. We see why we gonna join in and throw darts at the cat while he's going through something like this?
You surprised by the response of coming from the black community in
The
regards
black
to?
community, I kind of am. Didn't we love Coach Prime? Didn't we like him? You know, okay, Dallas Cowboy fan, right?
Yep.
Long as I didn't know you, you've been a Dallas
Yeah.
Cowboy fan. Tell us a little bit about Prime, man. What do you actually know about Prime?
So Prime, man, exceptional football player, exceptional talent, exceptional athlete.
No, can't even question it.
He, was more than one sport. Prime time, as far as like he was an exceptional NFL cornerback, one of the
Right.
best, arguably one of the best, arguably one of the top 3 players from what I'm hearing of all time. They tossing that around
At the
right
corner
now.
position or just overall?
Overall.
Wow.
You talking about special teams, punt return, kick return.
Yeah.
You talk about defense, shut down corner. He shut down whole side of the field.
Yeah,
Quarterbacks
yeah.
wouldn't even throw over there. And then you talking about a guy that the offenses would scheme in and put on offense, and they would utilize him on the offensive end. So, exceptional player, a good dude from basically if you follow his resume, he's been coaching for about 15 years or so now. He started out coaching, I guess, when his sons were young. He
No, let's not leave out the fact that he's the only person ever to play in a Super Bowl and the World Series. Okay, yeah. Now that's
2-sport athlete. Let's not leave out the baseball.
there's people that go their whole career and never get to the World Series, and there's people that go their whole career and never get to the Super Bowl. This cat done played in both. Okay, go ahead.
So you got Coach Prime with his business ventures. Basically, he has been around the youth sports. I think he started what they call the Truth Youth Sports Program.
Okay.
And that was for football, baseball, basketball, cheer, and track. Also, his coaching journey included the Prime Prep Academy, AAA Academy,
Okay.
Trinity Christian School in Texas, and then on to Jackson State and now Colorado. So Prime has been busy with the youth for a long time.
And these are things that, when it came down to, like, most people, you'll set up a nonprofit organization, start moving money around, saving on taxes. This is things that Prime was paying for out of his own pocket. The whole Coach Prime thing, we just getting hip to it as a community. But as far as these kids is concerned, he been Coach Prime
For a long time.
for a long time.
Yeah.
They said that, I remember with that program that you was talking about, 500 to 600 kids every summer is what he was dealing with every summer. So 500 to 600 kids, you out of your own pocket, you got about 15 buses that you got moving around the city,
Right.
picking kids up, bringing them to the camp,
Feeding them.
3 meals
Yeah.
at the camp, taking care of them.
Yes.
Then you got the buses, they dropping them back off
Dropping
home.
them back off.
This is major stuff. You're
Come
paying
on,
for this
man.
out of your own pocket.
In the community?
In the community.
Right.
From what I remember, I think I want to say that it was about 7 of them buses that he filled up, bought some of those kids to his Hall of Fame speech in Canton.
Right.
To watch him and just to give them a glimpse of what's possible if you just keep doing what I'm telling you to do. And from what I'm understanding, there's about 6 of those kids that play with him at
still
Colorado
with him.
right now.
Yes.
So that's a major
That's
thing.
major.
Like, you really are, because black folks are saying how he be on the sideline and he really be connecting with these kids,
Right.
and they saying that's all for the cameras.
No. That's relationship. That's relationship with the community, man, with the kids.
Okay.
And it don't take him long to build that, man.
Okay.
You can see how he operates.
It's interesting how leadership works, and this is something that I've been telling people for years. Going back, to your boy 45. You know what I'm saying? It's like, sometimes we expect leaders to know everything, to have all the answers.
Right.
But in reality, a leader is somebody who can move people to action. Mm-hmm. It's somebody that people believe in to the point to where, okay, I'll follow him. And so what's happening is this cat, he did put together some of the best coaches from across, you got the cat from out of Kent State.
Right.
He was was
he like the
offensive coordinator from Kent State.
Yeah.
You got the defensive coordinator from out of Alabama.
Yep.
Put about 3 or 4 top level cats with him. And so now he got people to tell you what to do. He's got the expertise. Why go hire an expert and then override his authority?
Right.
No. Get the people, put them in place to do what they do best. Now I'm here to govern everything, to oversee everything, and to get these kids inspired to go out and play.
Right.
That's leadership.
That's leadership. And he done built a coaching tree. And they talk about how some of the greatest coaches do that. And so he done already plucked one off the tree and left him back behind at Jackson State, set him up, had his salary boosted, left the blueprint for success back there. And now he's got the tree at Colorado where these guys are going to come off that coaching tree. There's minority coaches. There's other coaches that are going to be set up for success. The great coaches do that, man. Why we mad?
We mad because he left Jackson State. Let's say what it is. Let's get right to it, man. He left Jackson State, HBCU. He wasn't supposed to leave Jackson State. He came there. Now this is what the critics say. The critics say that Deion came in there selling dreams, selling a vision of what we can do as HBCUs. We don't need them PWIs. We don't need predominantly white institutions to do what we need to do. You sitting in the living room of a kid who looking at you, his mom's sitting over there, she's seeing Prime.
Right.
Right? And so you telling your story, man, we don't need these white folks, man. To win, we can win, get you to the lead.
Right.
We can do that and add value to our own colleges.
I mean, but is
Next
that
thing
what
you
we
know,
doing?
huh?
Is that what we doing?
Well, he added value, that's for sure.
No, Prime did.
Prime added value.
What was they doing before Prime, though?
Jackson State, absolutely nothing.
That's what I'm saying.
They was doing absolutely nothing, man. Prime, okay, last 2 years in a row, they won the SWAC. They won the SWAC.
Oh, right.
Got to the championship game. They did lose both the championship games, but they normally wouldn't have been nowhere even close to the SWAC championship if before Prime came. Best recruiter in the country.
Right.
That's what they're saying. That people are. He pulled 3 of the top recruiters from some top schools, including your boy Travis Hunter. Right. This cat was the #1 player in the country. He chalked it all up. He was committed to go to Georgia. Was he?
Georgia or Florida State?
University of Florida.
Florida.
He was committed to go to the University of Florida. Chalked that up. Kid out of Swanee, Georgia, Collins Hill High, okay? The first 5-star athlete to ever go to a HBCU. First 5-star athlete in history. NIL deals, right?
Right.
NIL deals off the charts. You know, it's not really a whole bunch that you can see or that you can say about Prime and what he was doing.
Right.
Walmart, American Airlines, Procter & Gamble, Under Armour. These is companies that wouldn't have had nothing to do with HBCUs. And it really wasn't that they was committing to HBCUs. They was committing to Prime. So Mike Strahan, Strahan, he got the suits. So now I think they're sponsored by Men's Warehouse.
Right.
And so he had them to where all of the players on the away games, they suited up, Blazers with the Jackson State crest on them, nice little slacks,
Right.
nice little shoes.
But he reached out to Mike Strahan though. For
Come
that,
on,
though.
man.
Come on, man.
You know, you just relationships. You said it before.
Yeah.
It's relationships. So he decides that he wants to go ahead and, you know how Deion is. He'll have a conversation with the Lord in a minute. Now, I ain't got nothing against. I ain't got nothing
Prime
against.
time and God is
Yeah. He said he got to Jackson State because God called him collect.
Yeah.
And he accepted the call.
Yeah. Exactly
So
what he said.
He got another call. It's time for you to get on up out of there. He said he was at dinner with one of his coaches,
Right.
and it just rung in his head. He just said he just looked at his dude and was like, "We got to go. It's time to go."
Because he ain't swag.
Wow, man, and that was okay. That shocked me. You got a cat who's as decorated. This is Eddie Robinson's son.
Jr. Yeah.
And he gonna say that Prime ain't swag? Okay, so now just the fact, and most people don't even know what not being swag. You don't even know what that means, but it just don't sound good when you ain't swag. Oh my God, Alabama State. See, I was kind of, because I went to Alabama State, right? So I was kind of, when I heard, I was like, man, why is you beefing with Prime? You know what I'm saying? And then he gave him the stiff arm at the end of the game when he shook the hand. He gave him the stiff arm. And Prime was looking like he was about to, you know, that Lord stuff was out the door. Yeah, he was about to snatch that cat up. So, man, I'm just really disappointed at how that whole thing. I think that it was a lot of potential of what could have been done if Prime had stayed.
Was he that much of a threat, though?
Yes. See, if you look in big picture, imagine, and we're going to go into some of these. We're going to go into this money and show, because the question that Prime had, I seen him on an interview, and you know how you have a conversation where you got bullet points,
right?
Talking points that you're supposed to talk about,
right?
But then something happens in the conversation that triggers a thought, and it start asking you questions inside your own head.
Right.
They come out your mouth. So in this conversation, they was talking about funding, and so Prime was like, "Well, wait a second. You know, if we don't have the funding that we're supposed to have, that's fine. Let's find out why. Let's fix it, and let's move on."
Right.
And then something triggered in his head, and he was like, "Well, but the thing that I don't get is you telling me that every single HBCU is having these same problems?
Every single one.
Every single one. And then regular schools ain't having these problems, only the HBCUs?"
Wow.
He said, that sounds suspicious.
Right.
He said, as a matter of fact, I think I would be willing to put the money together to do an exploratory committee and investigate it to find out just exactly what's going on. We gonna get to the bottom of this.
Yeah.
Next thing you know, they come into Prime with a check. Man, let's get you out of here.
It's time to go.
It's time to go. You looking too close at stuff, you might figure something out. I don't know if that's what happened, but it just seemed coincidental that once Prime starts sniffing around,
they got
start
serious.
getting close to the money, now all of a sudden, man, you don't deserve to be here, man. You need something better. You need better facilities.
They had a smoke screen going for quite a while where they were saying it was the problem was that it was only 7% of HBCU alumni
giving back to the alma mater. I remember that. I remember that number at 7%. But the thing is, it's like, I don't know, man. It's like it's more than people giving back. Yeah, that's going to help and assist for the academic side. That's going to help with, you know, the academic side or the educational side of the school, the administrative side of the school. But on the sports program, that's a whole nother thing. You don't have people giving back to the scholarship fund, and then that money help put facilities together. And I was looking at some stuff the other day, and like Tennessee State, man, they had stuff where they had like a place where the agriculture, and they was teaching how to raise chickens and that type of thing. Man, that stuff was like, they were saying that when they have or try to recruit instructors to come, when they see how old the equipment is, that they literally can't hire nobody because nobody, like, this stuff is from the 1970s 1960s.
Wow.
The equipment that they're using the technology is so far behind
Outdated.
and what they need is outdated.
Why, man? Where's the money? Why are they so behind and struggling so? And we can't allow the smoke screen, the alma mater's not giving back, because that's not what they say about all of the other universities.
Well, yeah, that's exactly where we want to get into the bottom of that. Where's the money? As a matter of fact, we'll go to a little break. We'll go ahead and knock this out, and then we'll deal with this double standard. As a matter of fact, let's deal with this double standard right quick first.
It is a
right?
double standard.
It's a double standard because, okay, Prime is leaving and he's going to Colorado.
Right.
Colorado, great facilities, good program, haven't won in a while, 1-11 last year.
Right.
It's an opportunity for him to make some serious impact real fast. Mm-hmm. The double standard comes in with this. Lincoln Riley left Oklahoma, went to USC.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody said nothing.
Nothing. Not a word.
Brian Kelly
Mm-hmm.
left Notre Dame, went to LSU. Nobody said nothing.
Not a word.
Prime left Jackson State for Colorado. This is the thing that I don't get with us, because there's this real complaint amongst some of the talking heads. You hear it in the community, you hear it in the barbershop. Black people not getting opportunities
Right.
to coach. In the pros, you don't see black coaches. We need more black coaches.
Right.
In colleges, yeah, they give us the small jobs, but the Power 5 schools,
Don't come for us.
they don't come for us. We don't get opportunities. Here come Prime, giving him opportunity.
Power 5.
We got a problem with it. So
We do.
look, I've been looking. They say Prime had an interview and he was talking about how they don't want to see a black man have that type of success.
Wow.
I'm not sure if we didn't realize that the they
Was us.
wasn't. Yeah,
That's interesting.
I think the they is us, the biggest critics of Prime. Now they just hate him. They want him to lose.
Okay.
But we're going into stuff. We're calling them Uncle Toms, sellouts.
Yeah.
I heard one guy, and he was basically breaking down how he felt. What's the word that he said that Prime exploited the kids at Jackson State in order to get a leg up to get the lights on him, so
on,
that the
man.
other schools could see what he do, so he can get an opportunity with.
Who's that? Your boy
Colorado.
Umar?
No, Umar is on a whole nother level.
Oh man.
You know I stopped fooling with Umar
Yeah, we
years
gotta
ago,
get rid of Umar.
but yeah, he's not being objective at all. I'm not even sure if Umar knows anything about sports, period.
Right.
So he's not really following. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and jump into it and start figuring out what's going on. Answer the question that Deion was answering, man. What's going on? Where's the money at? Why is this problem happening? Let's get to the bottom of it. So
Right.
take a quick break. Upper Room Apparel. We'll be back in a second. The perfect balance of streetwear and luxury proves we're just built different. The brand's DNA celebrates who we are, and is unapologetic in our cultural evolution. It's fueled by the aspirational motto and brand mantra, the upper room, where great minds meet.
Walk with me. Let's bring together every hood and every city, every barrel. Real is rare and it's that upper room apparel. Meaning of the minds and it ain't nothing but love. Great minds think alike, two brains better than one. You got my back, I got your front. Forever solid, it's in us we trust. Might not come overnight, before you walk, you crawl. United we stand, divided we fall. United we stand, divided we fall. United we stand, divided we fall.
We back at the spot, touching base, really dealing with this situation with Prime,
Coach Prime.
HBCUs, Coach Prime. Your boy Malat was on me about a month ago, man. We was dealing with that Prime. I wouldn't call him Coach Prime. And Malat got on me about that. Once he started winning last time he was in, it was like, yeah, I'm going to have to go ahead and start calling your boy Coach Prime. So shout out to Malat.
Yeah, Malat rocking the Colorado Buffaloes right now.
Oh
right
my
now.
God, okay. So, all right, well, let's get into HBCUs, man. A lot of people don't really know about historically black colleges and universities.
Right.
Really making some impact. They say that nearly every prominent black leader in the 20th century, from Thurgood Marshall to Martin Luther King, all came through educated at a HBCU.
Wow.
So you're talking about really having some major impact as far as 80% of all judges in the United States who are black came out of a HBCU. 50% of all engineers and public schools teachers that are black came from HBCUs. 70% of all black dentists and doctors come from HBCUs. 35% of all black lawyers graduated from HBCUs. And 25% of all STEM graduates came out of HBCUs. So I actually have two children. Amber and Asia both graduated Tennessee State. HBCU, Tennessee State. So they doing major work. And the question we're asking is, why is it that they're struggling the way that they're struggling? Why is it that they're not, why are they so underfunded? Okay. And so my thing is all right, it goes back to a senator out of Vermont, a cat named Justin Morrill. His story was he didn't get to go to college. You know, back in them days, if you wasn't basically white and wealthy, you didn't have access to post-high school education. Everybody, all of the schools were private. So you didn't really get a chance. Unless you had some money stacked up somewhere throughout your family, you wasn't going to school. So he got into politics, served as the chairman of the Committee of Ways and Means in the 39th Congress, also served in the Joint Committee on Reconstruction. So when Reconstruction was going on, he was a major cat involved in that. They drafted the 14th Amendment. So you had the 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendment. 14th Amendment was what gave us our citizenship.
Right.
So he was involved in the drafting of the 14th Amendment to the Constitution. In 1866, he was elected to the United States Senate as a Union Republican representing the state of Vermont, and he held that for 44 years. So this is a cat that really, as a result of not being able to get education, he decided, okay, I'm going to put together some legislation and hand it over to President Lincoln and see if we can get it signed in order to be able to try to create the first publicly funded public educational system for college for everyday average people in the United States, average citizens. So the Morrill Act came, and what they decided to do, they came and they wanted to focus on universities to teach agriculture, mechanical arts, and what they call military sciences. See, this was going on during the Civil War, and with it going on during the Civil War, all of your military colleges was in the South. So what they wanted to do was teach, okay, if we want to develop a military, how do we teach military sciences to some of the cats in the North? So when the Morrill Act was passed, they decided, okay, we got 10.7 acres, 10.7 million acres of land that we didn't just stole from these Indians. See, that's the downside of it. 10.7 million acres that we didn't just snatch from these Indians. We didn't took their stuff. Let's figure out how to use it.
We stole it.
We stole it. Disease and force is how we got them up out of there. We got some of them involved in some treaties and reneged on those, took the land, and now we got this land. So what they decided to do is, okay, we're going to take this land and we're going to give it to states that were in the Union in order to try to you got to establish a university, somewhere that the people can go and get educated. These became your land grant institutions.
Okay.
So your land grant institutions was the institutions that was set up as a result of the 1862 Morrill Act, which was the Land Grant Act. You get some of that property, you set up a university. If you had any that was left over, any land that was left over, you sold that cheap in order to be able to get people to migrate out. Because remember, we had just bought all that territory to the left of the Union with the Louisiana Purchase.
Right.
So all of them states going west, now you need to populate those cities.
Okay.
So they set up universities, and then they sold the land cheap in order to be able to get people to come and migrate to those cities.
Okay.
Populate it. Now you got people that can go to school. You can go ahead and make money that way.
Okay.
Now the deal was, we'll go ahead and give you the money to run the schools. This is the government talking. We'll give you the money to run the schools, and then the state was supposed to match every dollar that the government gave that they got from Congress. The state was going to match that and give these people money in order to fund the universities.
Okay.
So
And that was the first act, right?
that was the 1862.
1862, signed by President
President Lincoln.
Lincoln again, huh?
Yeah.
And was it just land grant proceeds, or was there also cash proceeds that was given to the university?
Yeah, it was both. It was the land that was given to the, now this you're talking about 1862, right?
1862.
Okay, so 1862 they gave them land. So that land translated in both land and cash, because let's say if you got 600,000 acres,
Okay.
and let's say you took 100,000 acres and built your university. Now you got 500,000 acres that you can sell, as we said, to populate the area.
Right.
That gave you cash to run the university.
Okay.
Then Congress every year would give you, from that point on, Congress would give you a certain amount of money towards keeping that education going. That was just as important as just your regular public school system from 1 to 12.
Right.
This was a publicly funded graduate system,
Okay.
college. So what they did was they said, okay, we're going to give you, Congress talking, we're going to give you a certain money every year to keep that going. In order to match, in order to balance it off, we want the state is supposed to match every dollar that Congress give. The state matches that dollar and then puts that in the pot too. And these is the funds that they get in order to be able to keep the university funded.
Okay, so you telling me we got a state-run matching one-to-one system?
State-run matching system. If you're working, we're in the state of Ohio. If you have a job in the state of Ohio, you're paying taxes. And if you're paying federal taxes, and then some of your money that you're paying in the federal taxes is going to the state of Ohio to help pay for land grant institutions in the state of Ohio. Let's say Ohio State. Ohio State is a land grant institution in the state of Ohio. If you're paying city taxes, the city or state taxes, the state is sending money also to Ohio State. So
Ohio
whether
State.
you have children or have ever been on the campus of Ohio State University or whatever, you're paying for the funding and the functioning of Ohio State University.
Wow.
As a land grant institution. So, and there's plenty of them across the country. You'll be
Right.
surprised. It's easily over 50,
Okay.
but close to some of them getting all the way up into, you can count as much as 100 land grant institutions in the United States. MIT, schools that you wouldn't even think.
Wouldn't even think about.
MIT, Penn State, Ohio State, Auburn University down in Auburn,
Okay.
Alabama, University of Arkansas, University of Tennessee, University of Florida,
Large universities.
super
Power
large,
5,
Clemson,
PWI.
like I said, Penn State, Cornell University, University of California, Berkeley. All of these universities are land grant universities.
Wow. So you telling me basically what appeared to be something that was set up for black or HBCUs in the South, agriculture and all of that, is really something that's being, this whole matching one-to-one program, we not matching. It's not matching.
Well, the thing is, they didn't set it up for they set it up for their children, but you remember back then, segregation was still in effect.
Okay.
So none of these schools that I named was historically black.
Right.
But those institutions, because segregation still existed, even though black people were working and paying taxes, we couldn't go to those schools. So there comes the expansion of the Morrill Act. That's why there's two dates. There's 1862 and there's 1890.
Okay.
So when they talk about HBCUs, they usually refer to them as 1890 universities.
Okay.
That's because the money that came to start those universities, the Morrill Act, they expanded it in 1890 and said, okay, these cats should be able to get educated just like the other white people would be getting educated, but y'all are practicing segregation and y'all won't let them go. So y'all either got to do one or two things. Y'all got to either let them go to those universities, or y'all got to set up a separate system to where they can set up universities of their own.
Okay.
So that's where they start. They said, okay, well, we don't want them going to school with us. We'll give them money to set up their own schools. And that's where your land grant 1890 HBCUs came from. Okay,
so when we got the land grant, so that's what's considered the second Morrill Act.
That was the second Morrill Act, but it fell under the code and the functioning of the first Morrill Act. There's no two separate payment plans. There's just one plan that everybody falls up under. So if you have a state that had one, let's say you take Ohio. We had one land grant university in the state of Ohio, that was Ohio State. After 1890, they established Central State.
Central State, okay.
So what the law says is that from the time that another land grant university got established, now the state has to split those one-to-one proceeds, that money that's coming from Congress and that money that's coming from the state. They match it, put it in there, and then that money is supposed to be split right down the middle, evenly, equitably, between the land grant universities that you have in your state. So Central State should be getting just as much money as Ohio State is getting. That's where the lack of funding is coming from. That's where these HBCUs ain't getting a fair due and a fair cut of the pie. Because you got land grant universities. Let's say, okay, you got Alabama A&M. These are the 1890 universities. Alabama A&M, Alcorn State, Central State, Delaware State, Florida A&M, FAMU. We all heard of FAMU.
Yeah.
Fort Valley State, Kentucky State, Langston University, Lincoln University, Prairie View A&M, North Carolina A&T, South Carolina State University, Southern University, Tennessee State, Tuskegee.
Right.
University of Arkansas Pine Bluff, University of Maryland Eastern Shore, Virginia State University, and West Virginia State University. Okay, those are all of your land grant universities that are HBCUs. But in those same states, like you got University of Arkansas.
Okay.
We thought they started this stuff on their own. We never even thought or even raised the question, where did these schools come from? Where did Penn State come from? We never even raised the issue to, like, that wasn't even a question that ever powered. In our minds, it was always there.
Right.
But come to find out, because we'll discredit HBCUs.
Totally.
We'll discredit them.
Yeah.
But when you see that the same plan that created Penn State also created Tennessee State.
Okay. HBCU.
And they supposed to be sharing. If you're in the state of Tennessee, let's look at this. I got a whole list of them. MNOPQRST. All right. Tennessee has 2 land grant universities. One Tennessee State University, one University of Tennessee. Volunteers. Peyton Manning. Right? See, these is legitimate, these is huge universities that we not even paying attention to. So the same money that go to Tennessee State or Tennessee, that money is supposed to be being split down the middle, and half of that money is supposed to be going to Tennessee State.
But it's basically not.
It's not at all. They're getting zero of that money. It's not that they're cheating them out and not giving them as much as they should, like they're giving them only a third of what they should be getting. Since 1890, $0. They never start paying in.
Wow.
Never start paying in.
So the land grant, the second Moral Act of 1890,
Right.
which brought in the HBCUs,
Right.
it never improved the HBCU situation in terms of funding from the state.
Well, I don't know if I'll say that. I'm not from the state.
Right,
Now, as
from
far
the
as funding
state.
from the state, yeah, no, it didn't.
Right.
That money never came. Never came. They're saying because, your boy 45, right? hate to bring this cat's name up, but he when he did what he did with funding of HBCUs, they decided, okay, he was thinking the same way Deion Sanders was thinking. Let's figure out, man, what's going
Where's
on.
the money?
So he put together an exploratory committee. That just came to a head just in the last like 6 to 8 months ago.
Wow.
And what happened was they're estimating that as much as $30 billion
Yeah.
is what the shortfall was of what HBCUs should have been getting
Right.
that they're not getting,
30
that
billion.
they haven't gotten, going all the way back to 1890. And so it's almost like, what do they have it to where when folks be behind on child support, they call it the arrears?
Yeah, the arrears.
That's the language that they're using, is that the states have rearages to pay to these HBCUs. I think it was some schools up in Virginia, they got a settlement. Virginia, that would have had to be Virginia State,
Okay.
because it's only two in Virginia State and Virginia Tech. See what I'm saying? We know about Virginia Tech.
Right. We
How
don't know
was
nothing
Virginia
about
Tech
Virginia
a land
State.
grant university? So Virginia State, I think their settlement was something like a little over $400 million. That was back pay of what they should have. Those was rearages going all the way back. And so with some states now, what they're saying is, Jackson State, underfunded $544 million. This is just since the 1950s.
Right.
See, that got me thinking, because we was having this conversation with Prime, talking about Prime, and I was like, man, can you imagine if Prime had that $544 million? If that went into that school, now you wouldn't be so impressed with the facilities over at Colorado.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But it's not like, because the narrative on black colleges is that it's a lot of corruption.
Okay.
We wasting a lot of money.
Right.
Which we can't just throw all of that out.
Yeah, we can't totally say,
because they was kind of killing Deion with the,
and they on record getting caught, some
Right.
of them. But then you also got record, just like in terms of that, from 2010, 2012, that high percentages of 1890 land grant universities did not receive more than 100% of the one-to-one matching fund from their respective states.
now you say they did not receive.
Did not receive more than 100% of the one-to-one matching funds from their respective states. So they even went into numbers like where they said that they did not receive, so from 2010, 2012, and they given short
Okay.
records, that they did not receive more than $31 million in extension funding due to states not meeting the one-to-one match requirement. 1890 land grant.
And what year is
universities.
this?
This is just record from 2010 to 2012.
Yeah, see.
So
that's-
you going back you got, the numbers are way bigger than that.
Yeah, well, the numbers are way bigger because you never started giving it.
Right.
Don't pull me up into this little
2000
slot right
yeah,
here.
that's what I said.
What was you doing before?
Yeah.
And I think that this is what they're trying to do, is they're trying to say, okay, let the past be the past.
Right.
We don't want to go back to 1890 because now the numbers start adding up
Right.
too far.
And you talking about arrears.
Yeah. So that right there is saying, okay, we're saying, no, we want to go all the way back.
Right.
We want all of ours.
Reparations.
We would listen, and this is the thing. This ain't something that reparations is like. That's kind of different,
Right.
because that's saying you owed us this, but
yeah.
technically there was no contract to pay us.
Right.
So it's not like we're fighting for something that we had contract to give and they didn't give it to us. No,
Right.
we didn't have no contract to be paid for slavery.
Right.
But we were supposed to be, there was a contract for us to receive this money for these schools. And the proof is that the money was coming in, y'all was just redirecting it only to the predominantly white institutions. So that's where, I don't think that there's any way that we can't lose this.
Right.
And so it adds value to the HBCUs. And it kind of, adds to the plight of, okay, here's another success story for people who fought.
Right.
And to establish this thing. Because there's some people that, I was asking the question, man, if this money was there, how come nobody's asking about this money?
Right.
If you know that you was owed. But then as I looked into it, they've been going to court. It's just that people don't, they figure if it's not a big story and we can just push it under the table and everybody forget about it, we just not going to address it.
Right.
And that's the way that they've been dealing with it.
Right.
But now it's getting to the point, I think some students down at FAMU, the students
coming with it.
got together and filed the lawsuit.
So let me ask you, in terms of this information, is this a fail on behalf of the black community at the voting ballots? Because this is like what, a state level situation?
It's state level. It's state level.
Who handles that?
Your governor is going to issue the money. The state is going to put it into the pot, and then now it's up for that money to be distributed out. Now it's up to the secretary or whoever is dealing with the financial aspect of the state. But before that money can be sent out, somebody got to vote on it.
Wow.
So we always hear that state level politics is more important, that will affect you more on the state level than anything that's decided on the federal level. Wow. We don't really get no examples. Give us some examples of what you mean by that. Well, this is one of those examples of what's meant by that. You're telling me that because we're not participating on the local voting practices, that over 100 years worth of income that was supposed to be going to HBCUs was redirected. And that's what they're saying. They're saying, we don't owe y'all this money because, like, for instance, Tennessee State, there wasn't even an entry on the state's, when they audited the numbers for the state,
right?
There wasn't even an entry. It's not like they had Tennessee State there and then a zero next to it. There wasn't even an entry with Tennessee State in the budget.
Not even an entry.
And what they are saying is, oh, we didn't even see that.
Some of that, huh?
Yeah. What? It's not there? Is it on yours?
Right.
It's not on yours either? Jesus Christ.
Wow.
I wonder how that happened. Okay, well, we'll pick it up from here and we'll go ahead and start paying y'all now. He's saying, nah, I need that.
Wow.
So they saying we just didn't know. We just never added y'all. It's almost like you got a family, you got 3 children, and you put together a will for your 3 children. Mm-hmm. Everything's going to go to them. It's going to be divided equally.
Right.
We got them in a trust. The money is going to come out, and then each one of them is going to get the same amount.
Right.
But then 20 years later, out of the blue, you end up having another child. Mm. Your wife say, man, I don't know how this happened, but we about to have another one. What you talking about? We done having children. Well, here comes little Billy, right?
Right.
And then you just keep raising the family, but you never amend your will.
Oh, yeah.
Little Billy was never added to the bill. That's what they're saying. They're saying the 1862, that was the original family.
1890.
Had another kid in 1890, these HBCUs forgot to amend the will.
And that's how it's laying. That's how it's going.
That's how they trying to get it. That's the story they telling.
So this is the code. So you got to get guys like Coach Prime out the way then.
Yeah, you looking. You need answers. This talking about we going to get to the bottom of this?
Oh.
Nah, we can't have you getting to the bottom of nothing.
Yeah,
We're about to give you a check.
It gets you going.
Send you out there way out to Colorado where it ain't nothing but mountains. You draw too much attention to this thing.
We're going to get you $29.5 million.
That's it. Let's get you taken care of to get you quiet.
Wow.
So, hey, that's where we at with it. You know what I'm saying? We hoping that, more people will pay more attention to what's going on. Now, when you hear this in the news, it'll be something that is like, okay, all right, yeah, I'm familiar with that. Let me follow that.
Right.
And give these universities the support that they need. Mm-hmm. I think it's huge. It's going to be huge.
It is huge.
I think everything looks good right now.
That's going to definitely be huge.
HBCUs. HBCUs, it's a different experience, man. It's a totally different experience for, I think, in my opinion, HBCUs, it gives students a better opportunity for, like, if you're really looking to participate in leadership type level things, it's an opportunity. It's almost like having a classroom that's a smaller classroom.
Yeah.
First name basis with the instructor.
Right.
That type of thing. Get a chance to be able to participate more, have conversations more. You're more likely to run into your instructor at the corner store or down at the local store and see him at the park, hear him out with his family and everything. Everything is real close-knit at the HBCUs.
Right.
And then we can expand into when you're in limited dollars like that, because, for instance, you talk about sports, Prime is up against it, because when he went to Jackson State, and this is what nobody really talks about, at HBCUs, the focus is not the sports team.
Right.
The focus is the band.
Yeah.
When people come to football games, they not coming to see the football team.
The band.
They coming to see the band. Yeah. And the band, man, I'm talking about, it's a whole event. The drum, just like Drumline, just like the movie. That's real.
That's real.
That's the real deal.
Yep.
Drum major. So whereas some of the PWI schools are trying to find the best quarterback in the country and get him to come there, the HBCUs, who's the best drum major?
Drum major.
You hear less about the quarterback.
Right.
The quarterback, the football game is just to keep people entertained until this band get to high stepping out onto that field.
Right.
And that, man, I'm talking about, they have battles just like you would see sports teams, basketball teams play against each other. Man, they'll fill a gym up, Prairie View band versus Alabama State band. And you just got this band sitting on that side, this band sitting on that side. The stands is packed, and they battling as bands. Man, that's the culture. So it's I get it, but now with these funds, now you can invest in the sports, and you can invest in the bands. But yeah, I get it when it comes to when people say, well, why don't they put money into the teams and the facilities and that type of thing? They can care less. Man, when you look at the bus that the band is traveling in compared to the bus that the football team is traveling in,
they bus better, huh?
Man, you better believe it,
Come
man.
on,
This thing is, man, look, man. Listen. They traveling in style. Tinted windows, air conditioning, TVs.
The band is
the band is moving. Those are the big guys on campus. Whereas regular schools, the football players, basketball say it, no. Black HBCUs, the bands are the big guys on campus. You're the big man on campus. You drum major,
that's the guy.
He's that guy.
Yeah.
So, what can you say?
Revenue-wise, though, I think this whole Coach Prime phenomenon, the Deion Sanders experiment, head coach, college football, I think he has definitely left a blueprint. I mean, even if you look at what he's done transferring over to Colorado, I took, first of all, he got a contract where he got the $29.5 million over 5 years. That's huge big salary. But then you're talking about just this year, you got $90 million in exposure brought to Colorado since the season started.
$90 million.
$90 million. You got a 505% jump in the sales of Colorado Buffaloes gear in the team's online store. You got the Blenders eyewear, the little eyeglass experiment, that business he collaborated with. $4.5 million in sales. And so I think that...
And this is just since the Colorado State game.
Colorado State game. So I think that what the blueprint that he left behind at Jackson State, HBCUs need to pick it up, and they need to move towards that, because the revenue, the ticket sales and everything, when he was there, the revenue that was created was huge.
See, he was supposed to get, that was part of the deal that allowed him to be okay with just the 1.2 million. He was supposed to get, 1.2 million over 4 years.
Right.
So that's 300,000 a year. He took 150,000 of that and put it back into the school, paying coaches, because they didn't have a budget for his coaches. So if he was going to end up with some bum dues for coach, can't pay him nothing, then you're going to lose. But he said, no, I need better coaches, so I'll just pay them out of my pocket. Then he was upgrading the facilities with that money.
With the money.
You know what I'm saying? He was doing a lot. He was doing a lot.
He was.
That other coaches at other schools wasn't even being asked to do. You know what I'm saying? And so in order to be able to balance off, what they said, we're going to take, our stadium seats 60,000.
Right.
So what we're going to do is the first 30 will go to the university. Any ticket sold over 30,000, we're going to split it.
Right.
You're going to get a piece of that. So Prime is out there looking at games, stadium packed. He goes to administration, how many tickets we sell today? 22,000. 22,000 is Prime.
22,000.
So Prime is like, wait a second, man. You know, this is affecting my pocket. I'm supposed to be getting this. This place is packed.
Right.
So it was a lot. It was a lot going
It's a
on.
lot.
That the money was, you know. But now, like you said, he left somebody in place there that was off his tree.
Right.
So that phone line is still open.
Yep.
It's not like he don't. Okay, you got the blueprint,
Right.
But it's better than having the blueprint. You got somebody who built the blueprint
Yep.
that you can pick up
With
the
an open
phone
line.
and say, "Yo, this is what we looking at. We
That's
got
huge.
these sponsors." You know, because a lot of times, man, when you go into negotiations, sometimes you just don't even know what is proper to even ask for.
Right.
Okay, they offering us this. What do we? What
Right.
does this sound like something that we should be doing, or are we cutting ourselves short, or what is it? Now you got somebody on the line that where you can go ahead and get that question
Yeah.
answered, be a better negotiator, get better stuff coming in for the school, better stuff coming in for the players, man. Keep that pipeline of players coming in, and then it can be a portal to where, okay, come here, you might not be ready to play at a Power 5.
Right.
But you come here, we'll play you for 2 years, get your weight up, and then we'll transfer you out to
Out
Prime.
to Colorado. That's it, man.
So it's a lot that can work.
It
You know what I'm
is.
saying? It ain't a done deal. We just need to get off a little bit, you know, kind of back up off the
small-minded.
yeah, we got to back up and look at the bigger picture,
Yeah.
see where it's going, and then kind of approach it from there.
I agree.
So anything else you got left?
Man, that's it, man. The Coach Prime phenomenon, like I said, we can go on. We gonna probably have to revisit
It's an
it.
ongoing
depending on-
story.
Yeah, depending on how he fared, we'll see, man.
Yeah. I would imagine this. If I'm looking at if I'm looking at the year he's going to have, it's going to be interesting to see how it all pans out. I'm not sure he'll do. Of course, he already doing better than
already
last
doing
year.
better, right.
I really think that I would give Prime, before he's really competing on the national level like that, to where you can start talking national championship.
Right.
I'm gonna give him 5 years.
I agree.
5
think
years,
it's-
you
yeah.
start getting in that portal real big, start getting his recruiting game
Recruiting.
in,
Yeah.
and then 5 years from now, all of the kids that's at that university will be his kids.
Right.
And now we're going to start
Exactly.
seeing what's going on. If they don't pluck his coaches, because that's going to be the next thing that they do.
Right.
Once he starts having too much success,
They gonna
they're going to
start
come after his
plucking,
coaches
yeah.
and start offering them coaching jobs of their
Yeah.
own. So it's an uphill climb,
It
but
is.
I think he's ready for it.
I do too.
All right. Big deal. We need to tell people, hey, man, follow us on Facebook. Follow us on Instagram. Subscribe on YouTube.
Like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe. And we're going to go ahead and check y'all out next time on The Spot.
Peace.